Find your mouthpiece and put on your jock straps. It's the Sports Blitz with Doug and Robbie.
Okay, how long is your show?
You guys have such a great setup.
Listen, if you're under a rock or if you're in a cave, come on out and listen to our episode.
It was fun talking baseball. I love talking Red Sox. I love talking coaching.
I don't care because I would rather there not be an MLB season than have to sit and watch the colossal embarrassment.
Hey, hello, I am Bloom. Yeah, it's Doug and Robbie from the Sports Blitz. I just wanted to find out whether you need some pitching.
There you go. In 5, 4, 3.
Oh.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Blitz, episode number 108. Yes, not to be confused with the radio station KISS 108. But anyway, as always, I just dropped that to make Doug mad because I literally dropped that reference on him 2 seconds before he came off air, and I don't regret it at all. Anyway, as always, I'm Robbie. Doug is here as well. Doug, besides wanting to walk off the show at this very moment, how are you doing?
I'm out. No, I'm doing well. Very much looking forward to the episode and talking a little football. Actually,
yeah.
Quite a bit of football.
Yes.
Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, a lot of football. Obviously, we are going to get into a lot of NFL football tonight on tonight's episode, especially having missed last week's episode. Definitely got a lot of ground to cover here. But before we do that, Doug, we have our amazing sponsor. So why don't you talk a little bit about our sponsor for this evening?
I will definitely do that. I want to tell Robbie this, and I totally forgot to tell him off air, but I'm going to tell everybody right now.
Okay.
A distinct possibility, and I have to talk to this particular person.
Yeah.
There's a distinct possibility we may have a second sponsor.
Ooh.
Second sponsor. So I'm gonna. I still need to check, but look for that. Absolutely look for that down the road. This might be not maybe at the beginning of the episode, but I might just kind of chime in with something toward the middle or the end of the episode or something like that.
All right.
But yeah, there is a possibility
cool.
We may have a second sponsor for our show.
Hey,
maybe
our door is always open, folks. If you want to sponsor us, please. We
don't mind that.
We're very low budget here at the Sports Blitz.
Yes,
we need help.
Very low budget, as you could tell by my headphones. Okay, so our show tonight, the Sports Blitz, is sponsored by Zyman Organizing. As you can tell by if you watched any of the episodes, any of the last 108 episodes or so, you looking around Robbie's room. Robbie actually is looking pretty organized now. He must have had Zyman Organizing going here to help out.
Don't look. Don't look.
Don't look.
Don't look over here.
Yeah, Robbie does his sock drawers on Saturday nights, so he's going to be hopefully doing that, and hopefully we'll get something done with that too. But listen,
what drawers? There are no drawers in this room. What are you talking about? What drawers? I don't know what you're
hiding the drawers, people. He's hiding them. So if you do need something organized, please contact Zyman Organizing. They will work with you to create and organize a space that is serene and a joy to spend time in. Just remember, Zyman Organizing, creating a stress-free home, and that is our sponsor.
Zyman Organizing
episode for Sports Blitz.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you, as always, to Zyman Organizing, the sponsor of all three of our YouTube trilogy here. That is
monumental, because that doesn't happen all the time. So, monumental.
No. And, of course, that trilogy being us here at the Sports Blitz, Doug and Kyle over at Marvel at the Movies, and Kyle and I at On a Couch Talking Sports. So, by the way, new On a Couch episode dropped last night.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. And people,
new Marvel at the Movies is coming out very soon. Very soon. Yep.
Yep. Should come out very, very soon. Maybe if I can go to Kyle's and I have to stay outside though. But I'll go to his house and I'll go to his apartment and I'll ringing the bell until he finishes it. But
You know,
anyway,
his
he's just
creative,
about
he's just a creative person. You know, his
He
creative
is.
process takes a little bit
Takes-
longer than some other
takes a
people,
while.
but you know, it's
takes
okay.
a while, but that's the anticipation of
Yeah,
that,
the
of
anticipation
the Marvel
exactly.
at the movies.
Exactly.
But it will come out, absolutely. So look for it out there.
Right. Definitely will. All right. Well, for tonight's episode of the Sports Blitz, as we were just teasing a little bit a few moments ago, it is going to be very much NFL related because obviously, as you all watching and listening know out there, the NFL playoffs began this past weekend. And a little bit later on in the show, we are going to have some NFL Divisional Round picks for, again, this coming weekend's games. Very excited about that. Unfortunately, one team that will not be participating in the divisional round this coming weekend is our hometown New England Patriots, who sadly saw their 2021 season come to an end this past weekend at the hands of the goddamn Buffalo Bills.
Whoa, family show now. Family show.
I don't think anybody's ever accused us of that.
Here, wait, we're ready.
Anyway, but yeah, so as I was saying, hopefully you don't get copyrighted for that. But anyway,
as not even 20 seconds.
Good point. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, the Patriots season ended on Saturday night, and so we are going to start off the episode by sort of doing a little post-mortem, as it would be, to the 2021
They're dead.
Patriots season. Their season is done.
I just pronounced them.
R.I.P. to the 2021 New England Patriots.
I just pronounced them. I'm not even a physician.
No. But you played one on TV. No, you didn't. But
I did.
Still, you're not a physician, but you did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Correct.
But before we sort of get into the Patriots season as a whole, we do have to very briefly touch on the game that took place Saturday night. As much as I want to take that game, put it in a rocket, blast it up into the stratosphere, because it was just an embarrassment of a playoff performance by the Patriots as they fell to the Bills 47-17 in Buffalo Saturday night. Doug, I literally had to flip the game off in the second half. I literally had to turn and watch the Celtics to get at least some.
You flipped the game off. Wow.
I did. I flipped the in the third quarter.
It takes a lot for you to do that.
In the third quarter, I literally was like, "Oh, Celtics are winning. Oh, this game's just brutal. I'm flipping over."
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know I threaten to turn it off all the time, and guess what? I started listening to it a little bit. I heard a little bit of it, and all of a sudden, my wife says to me, "Don't you watch the game?" I'm like, "Nope. Not going to do it." I did watch highlights, but I didn't.
Right.
I didn't watch the game because I just kind of listening to it.
Literally, I knew that we were in trouble after the first Bills drive. I knew that we were in trouble after the first Bills drive. But literally, it was almost like the Patriots defense did not show up. I mean, literally, it was the Patriots defense did not even make the trip down I-90 to Buffalo. I mean, it was just that brutal of a game the entire night. I mean, the Bills didn't have to punt. Literally in the last 8 quarters against the Bills did not have to punt once against the Patriots. I mean, that's how rough the Pats defense looked, not just Saturday night, but in the final 4 games of the season. Basically, it was
this is great.
That bad.
Robbie, I have to show you this. This is from my friend Todd.
And
he messaged me, and this is about the Patriots, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
Right, of course.
But you got to see this picture, because the picture says, let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah. All right. So here it is. A picture. The picture says everything. All the Patriots waiting to get the plane, and the plane already left.
It's true. It really is true. I mean, that's how bad that they looked on Saturday night. And I guess, Doug, let me get your thoughts here, because if I keep going much longer, I mean, we will enter a new realm of Robbie rant mode with just how the frustration emotion as I'm talking is just slowly but surely building up
rant, man.
to full on explosion. I mean, there may be things flying in the next few seconds if I keep going with
Simon
this.
Organizing is really going to have to come with me now.
But I mean, again, I don't want to give this game more time than it really needs, but just give it for the little that you watched, the highlights or low lights as it would be. Just give us your thoughts on what happened Saturday night in Orchard Park.
I have no idea what happened at that Saturday night in Orchard Park. I have no idea. All I know is that it sucked. It was horrendous. It was horrible.
We were texting each other. By the way, we were texting each other back and forth during the suckiness.
Yes.
Like,
yes. And
just be like, this sucks. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
I do not. I do not have any clue, and it's interesting when you listen to sports radio, and of course, they're still talking Patriots today, and I would have been done with it Monday afternoon.
I would be done with Sunday, like at midnight.
Yeah, Sunday,
whatever.
but typically they come on Monday and do Patriots Monday, which is fine, and I get that, and we all like to listen to it. But then it's postmortem, and then postmortem again, and now they're talking about Brady. Now they're let's talk about Brady again. I don't understand why we have to talk about Brady.
Well, if the Pats had Brady, they wouldn't have even been in Buffalo for the first time. But guess what? They don't have freaking Tom Brady. So can we live with what we do have? Live what we do have. That's enough problems.
I do not understand why the postmortem.
And by the way, can we just point out, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, and this will be the last time. Can we point out the fact that Brady's last year here in Foxborough, we lost the wild card game at home. We lost in the wild card game at home to freaking the Tennessee Titans, who had to win like 5 games in a row just to make the bleeping playoffs. Now listen,
and not just that, we didn't have the players that we have this year.
Yes, so exactly. We had no receivers. We had no receivers. Our defense looked like Saturday night's defense the last 3 games of that season. I mean, it was just. Again, that's a whole other rant for another day. I mean, that's just I'm a little dumbfounded, and the reason I'm dumbfounded was because in the middle of the season. So let me rewind. Okay, so I rewound what I just said. So to do a postmortem, what you have to do is you have to kind of look at what happened during the season, and then look what happened during the playoffs. Not playoffs, it's playoffs. Can we actually call it even a playoff? The way that the game went down.
They did make it to the playoffs.
Yes, they did make it to the
playoffs. It's not playoffs because they did not win
playoff.
One game.
Playoff.
Playoff. Why are you talking about playoff? That's Jim Mora, right? Is that Mora?
Yeah, the Jim Mora.
The Jim Mora, Jim Mora. The Jim Mora quote. You have to have the Jim Mora quote.
YouTube it, folks. It's
right, exactly. Yeah. It's very, very funny. It's very funny. And Jim, let me tell you, Jim Mora gets very emotional. You have to.
He has a treasure trove. I feel like YouTubeable clips from over the years.
He does. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You have to go and see it.
Yeah,
it is fabulous. It is fabulous. It is great. It is. He gets very emotional about the sport of football. So when you think postmortem, you think, okay, so let's look at the whole season. Let's look at the beginning of the season. Okay, they kind of like sucked. And we were like, oh, here it goes. Bill screwed up again. Here he goes. He did this pick, and the quarterback sucks, and he spent all this money, and they're not gelling. They're not coming together. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, bang, 7 in a row.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, the script flipped.
Yeah. Everything's flipping around. Everybody's like, hey, wait a minute. We may have just a little, what's going on here? So we were still kind of like, well, cautiously optimistic, and then cautiously optimistic because when we started the season, you and I are on this show, not this show, but a show we did in the past before the season, preseason show, saying there's absolutely no expectation here.
Yeah.
We don't have expectations.
No.
The only expectation we have is that Bill spent $150 billion on whatever. Billion's a little high. That's okay. It tells you the point.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of money in the offseason.
Right.
And in a hurry. And you also know that we have a rookie quarterback. So there's absolutely no expectation that these guys would obviously yell so quickly because it's impossible. There's no way that could happen.
I think we thought they'd be better than last year, but I mean, that wasn't saying
Yeah.
much given how bad they were
just because of
last
the players that we got in. And I was
and
a
one
little
player that we
suspect.
got, and one player that we got rid of. So
Yes, of course. But again, I think I was a little suspect because I was not confident because I didn't even know who the heck the wide receivers were.
Of course, yeah.
I was very excited about the tight ends because the two at that time, well, one definitely now, but two at that time, terrific top 10 tight ends in the league. So I was like, okay, well, Bill loves going to the tight ends anyway, so we're probably going to have, even if we can't go to Aguilar, if we can't go, wherever, it's one of those things where we'll probably be okay because we spent all this money. And but again, going in the season with no expectation whatsoever, and then having going 7 in a row, and then all of a sudden, the last few games were like, well, wait a minute. Are we reverting back to what we did at the beginning of the year? I mean, I don't understand this. I don't understand what's going on. We should be able to beat these teams.
Yeah.
Especially from what we just did in the last 7 weeks. We should be able to, with the momentum and we're doing great now and everything's wonderful and Matt's playing well and everybody's playing well. And so we should be able to just end the season on a great note. What happened? Where the hell did it go? I was like, what's... So what was good was, hey, we slid into the playoffs. Okay, great. No expectations. Remember, you got to have this in your mind as you're listening to us. Absolutely no expectation whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if you make it to the first round of the playoffs, everybody should be happy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no expectation.
Yeah.
None.
I certainly didn't see it at the beginning
we
of the
got 10
year.
Wins.
Yeah.
We got 10 wins.
If you told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. I would say if you told me 10 wins and a playoff berth, I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would have too. Because there was no expectation going in. Rookie quarterback, practically new.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of guys came back.
Who knew how those old guys... Who knew how those new guys were going to adjust to being in this Pat system? And plus, we were getting some guys back that didn't even play last year because of COVID, the COVID season, so to speak. We were getting some guys back as well. So how are they going to react? How are they going to reacclimate? I mean, it just and then we lost some guys. I mean, all these different moving pieces. You're right.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were going on COVID-wise during that. But again, beginning of the season. No expectation whatsoever. And you and I said up front, no expectation.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk when we first started. Well, when we first, before the season started. Oh, Mack Jones, he's probably not as good as the 2 or 3 guys that they picked before him. Blah blah blah. He's probably 2 guys. He's probably not as good. But if you think about it, look at Mack Jones's numbers and look at all the other rookie quarterbacks' numbers.
I mean, I think, and again, I'm looking at this as you are in a sense from a sort of slanted point of view, obviously a biased point of view.
At the positive.
We can
talk about the positive. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that like I'm going to go on record saying this on this show. I think he was the best rookie quarterback this season.
I agree with that.
I think he was. I mean, you look at the eye test between him and all the other rookie quarterbacks that saw action this year, and that includes Trevor Lawrence. I mean, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is playing for a crap team whose head coach decided to just
horrible team.
Who decided?
I feel so bad for the boy. I feel so bad for the guy. I really do.
I mean, he lost.
That team is really horrible.
He lost his first-year head coach halfway through his first season. I mean,
really horrible.
The Jags.
I guess I kind of feel for Zach Wilson too, because he doesn't have a good team either, and he's got terrible ownership.
But Zach Wilson didn't even play the full season at quarterback.
Exactly. I mean, it was godsend.
Yeah,
it was a good thing.
But I mean, honestly, if you look at the eye test between all the quarterbacks that were drafted in 2021, that played for their respective teams this season, I don't know how you can't at least make the argument that he had the best performance out of all of them, like season wide. Yes, I mean, he had struggles and they had good games, but I think if you're looking at the overall picture of this season, I gotta give it to Matt. And again, that's coming from a biased point of view, but the eye doesn't lie. The eye doesn't lie.
It's not just you that's saying it. There's lots of other people, lots of other NFL guys out there. They're all saying the same thing. They're all saying the same.
But yeah, I mean, hey, listen, the Bills game was crap. Let's just put a little bow on it. Say it was a crap game. It was a crap performance. The defense didn't even show up. They didn't even get off the plane as you were just, sort of showing us. I mean, it was a really bitter way to end the season, especially losing to the Bills of all teams. I mean, that even just sort of rubs salt in the wound.
Well, I also think that that's the third time they played them, and I think that the Bills figured out how to mess.
Especially with defense, especially offensively, especially the Bills. Those last two meetings, basically the Pats defense had no answer for them. They literally could not get off the field on any drive without giving up points. And I'm not just saying that figuratively. That literally happened.
Yeah.
They literally gave up points every single. The only drive, and I texted Doug this at the very end of that game. I said the only drive that the Bills did not score points in both of the two meetings was when the Bills were taking a knee at the very end of both of those games. That was the only Bills drive where they didn't score.
Yeah. So I have some information about the Bills that we're going to talk about in a little while, because we're going to talk about other playoff teams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think I figured out, when I tell you what these stats are, you're going to kind of figure out how they beat the Patriots. Oh, I mean, it's just.
I know how they beat the Patriots because I watched it. I know how they beat the Patriots because I literally watched it
and hit the page as I was writing it. So it was They just. It is what it is.
They kicked our ass. Then they rolled us over and they kicked us again. I mean, they kicked us when we were down pretty much.
But there's always, and nobody's talking about it, there's always some kind of positive that kind of comes out with it.
Oh, I have a couple of silver linings to that game. So. I definitely have at least one or two.
Not just in the game. I'm talking season wise. I'm talking.
We're gonna. I just want to sort of wrap a bow on the Bills game, then we will get into the overall season. But I will say the one, and you brought up his name just a moment ago, but one of the biggest silver linings that I had from that Bills game was Kendrick Bourne. I mean, he was one of the ones who I know he scored at least one of the touchdowns. I think he may have actually scored both their touchdowns if I remember correctly, but I don't quote me on that. But he actually but he looked he looked very impressive. In that Bills game, again, one of the very few bright spots. This is just Bills Mafia for you in a nutshell. Just again, I don't want to get too graphic here, but I did have to get a chuckle when he scored the first touchdown and a fan decided to throw a sex toy onto the field. That's putting it nicely. I mean, that was just kind of classic Bills Mafia right there. Just they jump through tables for a reason, folks. There's not Not a lot of brain
Yes.
power going on down there.
Yes, and by the way,
out there.
somebody else who played quite well, not just during the season, well, mostly during the season, but had his ups and downs, but played very, very well. And I really hope that we keep him because he is, and I obviously we had signed him for, not even sure what his contract is, but I'm sure it's well past this year, but is Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry just is just a quintessential, we talk about Gronk and we talk about, he's right, as far as I'm concerned, he's right at Gronk's level.
Right.
And I think Gronk is, obviously Gronk was with us for a long time, but one of those things where I really think that he was great in the locker room. He was great for the younger guys, and he played well.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
if you have Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, Jono Smith, Hunter Henry, you got those guys, and out of that pair, out of those four, you have 2 or 3 that did fairly well.
What about Kendrick
2
Bourne?
out of the 3.
What about Kendrick Bourne?
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne too. Yes, Kendrick Bourne. So you have the 5, and you come out with Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne playing very, very well. Nelson Aguilar was horrible. Sorry, he was. Jacoby Myers, they never threw to him, so I can't even tell whether he was good or not. And Jono Smith was supposed to be a great tight end, and I have no idea where he was.
I mean, and part of it was I think he had some injury issues during the season and stuff.
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
just kind of lost.
That's part of it, but yeah, he really did not make an impact. I mean, they would try to get him going, and he just wasn't there. You're right. I mean, I completely agree with you, and it kind of segues perfectly into a question that I wanted to ask when it comes to the Pats season as a whole. And I know we kind of started off on
that season was a hole.
No, a black hole. No, I'm just kidding.
A black hole.
When we sort of look at the Pats 2021 season, one of the questions I wanted to ask you segued into it perfectly there, was if you had to choose, if you, Doug, had to choose, and I'll give you mine as well, sort of in terms of individual players, 3 up and 3 down, I guess is what I'll sort of call it. 3 players that really, whether they went above your expectations or you had high expectations with them to begin with, really, performed to the highest level, and then 3 who, again, whether you didn't expect anything out of them to begin with, or they really went down below, into the ground below expectations. Do you have sort of any thoughts on sort of guys that come to mind when I know it's a bit of a thinker there, but I just sort of want to get your thoughts on that.
No, I was thinking about that too, because I had a feeling you were going to ask a question like that. So that's definitely a Robbie question. So I had a
you know me too well as a co-host.
Yeah,
I mean, we've only done 108 episodes.
And we've known each other for quite a long time,
number of years.
So,
we've been talking sports basically since we first met. So it's like
definitely a Robbie question. So I was kind of prepared for some of the Robbie.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm so predictable. Okay,
you are a little predictable, but that's okay. So I think my ups, you say 3 up and 3 down. I may have 3 or 4 up.
Yeah. No,
and maybe 3 or 4.
I was going with the baseline number, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So my thoughts is I think upside, who I think played well. Is that what you're talking about? Who played well?
Yeah.
Who played
exceeded
well
expectations,
season.
played well. Just were positive impacts on the team.
Right. So I think one was Kendrick Bourne, because when we first even heard about him, I actually asked you, I said, well, I kind of know who the wide receivers are on the 49ers. Who is Kendrick Bourne? I don't know who he is. So I really didn't know who he was up front, but I actually think Kendrick Bourne, not my number 1. I'm not rating this as number 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm just talking about who's on.
I'm just saying 3. Enjoy it. I know. I definitely wasn't saying you had to rate them. I was just saying.
Definitely. I actually have 4. So the first one is Kendrick Bourne. Second one is Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The third one is J.C. Jackson,
Yeah.
who I thought played very, very well in some very, very key games.
Yeah.
There were times he didn't play well, but that's okay. But in the key games, I thought he played very well. And my fourth, Mack Jones. Mack Jones, as far as I'm concerned, because I had no expectation at all, except for the fact that he won a national championship with a college team. Wins every year. Congratulations, Georgia.
Don't be stealing my final thought now. Don't be stealing my final thought.
I wasn't stealing. I was just saying congratulations. That's all I was saying. So when it comes down,
we'll have more on that later.
Yeah, right. So what it comes down to is I had zero expectations. As far as I'm concerned, they had 10 wins. He played really, really well. Although there were times.
By the way, he also made it through the entire season where there were some other quarterbacks who had some other teams who had to miss time here and there. He made it through the entire 17-game season, basically unfazed.
Yes, there were times that I wanted to put my hand through the TV and grab his neck and say, "What the hell did you just do that for?" But most of the time, I was sitting back going, maybe Bill did make the right decision. And again, everybody has to remember, there is a huge difference between college football and the NFL. Absolutely, totally different. Totally different. There's something that is the same, but most of that, 90% of it's different. There's maybe 10% that, you go and you talk to the, reporters after the game, and you do that with college too. But still, other than that, no expectation whatsoever, but I thought he played very, very well for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And he also made it to the playoffs. So as far as the team made it to the playoffs, and he was a part of that. So as far as I'm concerned, he is part of that 3-4 up as I go 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my 4 down is Nelson Aguilar. I'm going to have to think about the last. I'm just going to go 3 with this, I think.
Yeah,
Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, who I thought was just like, I'm not even sure. Did he play? I'm not even sure if he was even out there that much. And my last one is going to be a group effort.
I think I know where you're going to go. I know where you're going to go with this, but I'm curious if our minds are melding right now, but we'll see.
My last one is the Patriots defense.
Okay, yeah.
That's
that's not where I was. That's not where I was going thinking, but that's a good one as well.
It's especially in the last, I would say 3 or 4 games. I just don't know where they were. Now, another thing that was a thought is that there was a player that said that they weren't mentally prepared. Who gets you mentally prepared for a freaking playoff game? If you're not going to that game psyched as hell that you're in the freaking playoffs and you're in a playoff game, it doesn't matter who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing Brady and the Bucs. I don't care if you're playing the 49ers or the Packers or Aaron Rodgers. Don't you have to be psyched up to be in a playoff game? You're not mentally there?
Yeah.
What's going to make you mentally? Most of what a player has to do, from what I've heard and what I've heard from players who actually have played, Jerry Rice and a couple other players who actually have like rings, is that you go into that game mentally prepared no matter what.
Yeah.
So were they waiting for the coaches to do that? I mean, why are you waiting for coaches to do that? Yeah, coach is going to build you up and motivate you and stuff like that, but you got to motivate yourself. Check out Michael Jordan, for instance. I know it's a different sport. He went into every freaking game, listen to my words, every freaking game he went into the fact that he wanted to win that game. Every single freaking game he went into that with the mindset, I'm going to win this freaking game. I mean, that's a champion. champion. But what I'm saying is that that's the mentality.
Yeah.
And you're telling me the defense didn't go in saying a few guys, even if it's one guy, it doesn't matter. It's like they didn't go in mentally in the right frame of mind.
I think it's just excuses. I mean, I really think it's just excuses. And I mean,
I don't understand how that happens.
To hear that when you're going into a playoff game against, your divisional rival on the road, to hear that you weren't mentally prepared just shows me just that you're looking for excuses at this point. Yeah. And if that's really the case, then that's a really sad commentary. Yeah, on those players.
Yeah, and that's just what it is.
Yeah,
so what's No, I agree with that, and I just think it's an excuse. I agree with you totally. So what are your? Do you have some up and downs?
So I completely agree with your ups. Those are actually sort of three on my list as well. With J.C. Jackson, Bourne, and Hunter Henry. The other two honorable mentions, I guess, as I'll put it from my up list, was Matthew Judon. I thought overall had a really good season. I mean, I thought he did a really good job, for his first year on the team defensively.
Yes, I agree with that.
Thought he played really well. Really was making a lot of quarterbacks' lives very miserable, and just run defense in general. He was all over the place. I felt like game in and game out. Maybe not so much, sort of at the tail end of the year, but I just felt like overall this season really had a positive impact on the team. And then the other one was Nick Folk. I thought, Nick Folk actually became as the year went on, especially became very consistent in his kicking. And
see, I can't put a kicker on the list.
No, but I'm just that's why he's sort of an honorable mention.
No, I get it.
I think part of it is I did not have high expectations for that aspect of the Pats game after the 2020 season. So the fact that he actually was more consistent this year was a big
help,
upside for me.
No, I get it. I get it. I can't.
No, I know. I hear you. I to each their own. The one, and I completely agree.
Does he have to actually wash his uniform? Because I don't think he washes it.
I know the Bills punter didn't have to wash his uniform after those last two meetings against us. So there you go. But so in terms of the downs, I agree. Again, I agree completely with your list. I think you pretty much hit the nail right on the head. The only thing that I would add that I was sort of thinking of at the end of it was the Pats offensive line. I just think that they were very inconsistent this season, protecting Mack. Especially in those later games against the tougher competition, you notice how the Pats really did struggle to run the football in those games, like against Indianapolis, against Miami, against the Bills, obviously, especially the second time around. And I just felt like many times this season, I found myself, either yelling at the TV or texting with Doug just how brutal I thought the offensive line was playing. And so I thought overall they were.
You're texting with another Doug?
Anyway, I know. I'm
right here, by the way. I can actually hear you.
I'm talking to the people, Doug.
Talking to the peeps. Okay, I got you. I'm
talking to the people out there listening or watching us. The 5 people out there watching and listening to us.
The 3.5 people that are watching.
Exactly. But yeah, I just thought the offensive line overall this season just was very, very disappointing to watch. And I know that they had some injury issues and some COVID issues throughout the season that they had to kind of shuffle things around, but I just thought it was not a good showing overall by that Pats offensive line. So I definitely would have to add them to my overall list of downers for this season. It'll be interesting to see, sort of going forward into next year, if that position, which has been an issue, I think, for a couple of years now, if they could find a way to really to shore that up as a unit. And that kind of leads me into my next point, sort of as we start the process of looking ahead. I know it's just a week out, less than a week out from the Pat season ending, but it's never too early to start looking ahead a little bit to next season. I guess what I wanted to sort of touch on here, Doug, was when it comes to the 2022 edition of the Patriots, looking ahead when in this off season, heading into the 2022 season, what areas are on your quote unquote wish list for the Patriots when it comes to the areas that they can really make a splash in to get even better as they head into next season? Also, this is kind of a two-parter, but also on the flip side, are there any players and or coaches off the top of your head that you do not expect to see back in a Patriots uniform or on the Patriots sideline in come the fall of 2022?
Interesting. A and B. I think the first thought for the first question would be to get, if possible, and again, this is an only. We need to have some kind of elite wide receiver, somebody who's going to be able to open up the field a lot more than was happening. If that's possible. I know that there are some people, I've already heard about the draft already. I mean, I'm not ready to talk draft.
No.
Certainly not ready to talk draft yet.
No.
But I have heard
We
they're
got
already
time for
talking
that.
about the draft because that's what happens during the playoffs. You always talk about the draft.
Of course.
But supposedly, the Patriots are in line to possibly get the Alabama wide receiver who just got hurt during.
Williams, I think it is.
Yeah,
The last name Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe I don't know. I'm.
Yeah. Anyway, he got hurt during the national championship game, but he seems to, because he got hurt, they're pushing him back a little bit, and as they push him back,
yeah, I heard about that.
Seems
too,
to me
yeah.
that he's getting in line for a possible Patriots pick there. But besides that, I think definitely we need to shore up the offense.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah. We need to shore up the offense, which means that we have to shore up the offensive line, make sure that our offensive line is much better than, just like you said, much better than it was. And, of course, I think we need one or two, new receivers to add and keep Hunter Henry. I can't talk now.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah. Hunter Henry, please report to surgery. Hunter Henry, please report to surgery. Thank you. So I said it like that. Maybe I should just say it like that. Hunter Henry. See, there I said it. Definitely keep him. And do I see a change in some and a lot of positions and a lot of positional players? When it comes to coaches, yeah, I do. So there's a little bit of a rumor out there, and I'm not sure how much of a rumor it is versus somebody that's a Patriots insider decided to put together. I don't know if it's Mike Lombardi or one of those guys. Mike Lombardi's son works for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So it might have been Mike Lombardi that actually said it, but I can't remember exactly who it was. So I don't want to say it's Mike, so I'm not saying it's Mike. But somebody said that during that 7-game.
Wait, hold on. Hello. Oh, hi, Mike Lombardi. Wait, how'd you get this number? Oh, it's not you. Okay, you want me to tell Doug it's not you? Okay, thank you for calling. I still don't know how you got this number, but yeah, Mike Lombardi says it's not him, but that could have just
wait. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Hello? Yes. Oh, it's Mike Lombardi's son. Hold on for a second. How'd you get this number? Oh, you did? Bill, you got it from Bill? How's Bill know my number? Oh, okay. So anyway, yes, no, yes. Oh, okay. Thanks. Bye-bye. He just told me that his father's full of crap. He didn't say it. No, I don't really know who said it. I don't really know. Anyway, they said during the 7 games that they won in a row, and again, we thought it was going to keep going into eventually. The rumor is that Bill took over the defense.
I thought Bill kind of ran the defense to begin with. So
That's the rumor. Well, isn't it his son, Jerod Mayo? His son, Steve. Is it Steve?
Yeah. See, his son. Oh, you said his son and Jerod Mayo. I was like, I didn't hear the and. I was like, his son Jerod Mayo.
His son Jerod Mayo. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Bill Belichick's son is now Jerod Mayo.
Word.
By the way,
you're talking about
breaking news.
Breaking news.
Bill Belichick has a son,
Mayo.
and his name is Jerod Mayo. Yes. That's the way it is. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
No. I said
anyway.
Steve Belichick. I said Steve Belichick and Jerod Mayo.
I know.
I thought that they were the ones who ran the defense, but when Bill took over, supposedly they won those 7 games. And I'm trying to figure out why Bill stopped. If he's winning 7 games in a row, why
quit? Yeah,
doing what he was doing.
Well, can I ask you a question? I don't mean to get too far off the original question here, but looking at the way they ended that season, does it make you at all like kind of relook at that 7-game win streak and maybe like the caliber of team that we happen to be facing, whether it be injury related or whatever, and like does it make you look at that win streak at all differently given how we finished the season out?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I really do. I really do think it does because as they kept winning games every week and every week and every week, you thought, and I know I thought to myself, I was like self, and I was like, yeah. I thought to myself, they found it. They found it. They got it. They figured it out. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they found out how to play the right way, and they're running on fumes. I mean, they're running on whatever. I mean, they're doing well.
On fire,
basically. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, they got it. They figured it out. This is
great.
Keep going, guys.
Last 3 weeks happened.
Don't have any freaking clue. And Bill's not going to say anything. Bill's not an open book, so he's not going to. Wait, hold on. Excuse me. Hold on.
Oh no.
Hello. Yeah. Hey, Bill. How you doing? Huh? Really? Okay. All right, fine. All right, I'll tell them that. Okay, thanks, Bill. All right, thanks. Yep, bye. You don't want to know what he told me. He all right, I'll tell you. He said we're moving on to 2022. That's what he said.
We're on to
not going to talk about the season. Yeah. There's nothing I could do. He doesn't want to talk about the season. He's done. He's already moved on. So as we all should.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I listened to 98.5 today, and listened to the afternoon show at 2:00 for a little bit. I started to gag a little bit because they're continuing and still talking
Of
about.
course, and they're going
the
to
Patriots
for months. Basically,
Yes,
just
yes.
until
And
the start of next season. I mean, that's
I
just what
get
they
it.
do. Yeah.
I totally understand that. And let me tell you, I love to listen to sports radio, especially in Boston. But when they drag things out, when they continue to talk about Tom Brady, I'm still gagging.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I just wish that they would kind of move on. Brady's
Yeah.
not here.
Yeah.
And it brings me back to somebody made a joke about this too. It brings me back to when our buddy from Louisville, the game we saw with BC.
Oh, good old Rick Pitino, yes.
Yeah,
Our good
Rick
friend, our
Pitino
good pal,
goes and
yes.
says, Mikhail's not walking through that door. Larry Bird's not walking through that.
Nope.
Robert Parrish not walking through the door. If they come through that door, they're going to be old and gray.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fans. So it's one of those things where you just gotta. As of Monday, I have moved on. This past Monday, I have moved on. I don't mind talking about it, but it's like ad nauseum after a while.
Yeah.
That's just what
I
it comes
agree.
down to.
I agree with you. And obviously, we will have a lot more time to move on to 2022 in the coming weeks and months.
Of course.
Here, the one thing I will say is sort of close it out. Here is that sort of answer my own question in a sense. Is that one coach that I would not be surprised if they were not back with the team? Yeah.
Is it JM?
Jerod Mayo, yeah. Jerod, Bill Belichick's son, apparently, according to me.
Oh, he actually said one last thing. He said, Bill, who called before, he said he's very close with Jerod, but
no, I know
this is not true.
I know.
Although he does treat him like a son.
Jerod Mayo is not Bill Belichick's son. It was
that we know of.
Hey, and this anything's possible. I mean, you never know.
Bill's gonna call you.
Doug and I are starting a sports conspiracy theory that Jerod Mayo is Bill Belichick's son.
Wait. We're gonna put that. That's what our episode is going to be called. Jerod Mayo is Bill Belichick's son. How would you want to make a bet
with a question mark?
Watch
with a question mark. I should totally do that for the episode.
I would do that. I would so do that because I guarantee you it's going to make at least 3 other people watch because they're going to be wondering what the hell we're talking about.
With a question mark, it's like
question mark. Yeah, question mark. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. What were you gonna? I totally sort of stepped over the point you were making. So
no, I was just saying that. No, I was just agreeing with you about Jerod Mayo. I think Jerod Mayo would make a great head coach. I think he's a motivator. He's a great player here, and I think he's really good. I think he does need to learn a lot more. I don't know if he's going to really get a head coaching job because I'm not sure if he's coordinated enough. Not coordinated enough. That was great. I didn't really mean that. What I meant to say, he is definitely coordinated. And that's not what I said.
He's coordinated. He's a coordinator.
Yes. What I meant to say is that he doesn't.
Wait, hold on. Hello. Oh, hi, Jerod Mayo. Wait, how did you get this number? Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, you want Doug to know that you are coordinated. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you for clearing that up. Have a good day.
Yeah. Say hello to Bill for it.
Yeah, seriously. Say hello to your dad, Bill.
Okay. Say hello to Belichick. Okay. So what it comes down to is what I meant to say was I don't think he has enough coordinator experience. Because he does have some, but I'm not sure if he has enough to actually become a head coach. So I think he's got to do a little bit more. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm going to say this right out front. I personally think Jerod Mayo has more playing experience, obviously, than Steve Belichick. When did Steve Belichick play in the NFL?
Never. That would be never.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the fact is that I would pick Jerod Mayo. I mean, obviously, it's Bill Belichick's son is Steve Belichick. So why would you pick your Well, you have two sons, so maybe they're gonna maybe that's why do you think Bill gave them the same job? I mean, basically, they work together. They're
It's a
his
family
sons.
business. It's a family business.
It's a family business. That's right. So, do I think he will become a head coach someday? Yes. Do I think it will be now? I'm a little skeptical about that. But I would not be surprised if he decided to be a coordinator elsewhere. That is also
the official title, because he's not actually officially a coordinator here.
Right.
So
Correct.
and so like even they were talking about even
he's just
moving to
Bill
that role.
Belichick's son.
Exactly. Even
That's what his title is.
Even that role would be, even moving into that role would be technically a promotion, for him if you went elsewhere. And you notice, by the way, how sort of the first thought for a potential Patriots coach to move on to be a head coach, our first thought there was Jerod Mayo, and not someone who actually is listed as a coordinator on the Patriots staff, and that is Josh McDaniels.
Yes, he's not going anywhere.
No, I don't think he's going anywhere either. I don't see it at all.
I'm going to tell you this much, and I've heard a lot of rumors about him too. I think when Bill retires in the next. Oh,
he's the next guy. Yeah, he's the next guy. Next guy out. Absolutely. I think that's why he came back from Indy. I think that's why he came, because there was again, I don't mean to get too deep into the rumor, whatever you behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it. But I truly believe to this day that there was some type of understanding between him, Bill, and Kraft that when Bill leaves, he's the next guy up. I firmly believe that.
And that actually would not be the worst thing in the world.
No.
Although I do think Josh McDaniels is one of the best offensive coordinators in the league.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
But it doesn't mean that he can't run a team.
No.
So I think you're right. I think
especially if he stays here and becomes the head coach after Bill, then he'll have entrenched, a starter that he basically had a big part in developing, quarterback in grooming and developing.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think that's a big draw for him to stay and wait it out and take over for Bill.
Right. It's the perfect progression.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect, the progression. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. No, I think that's 100%.
And I think it must be true because Josh McDaniels isn't calling.
Nope, he's not calling. He's not refuting our reports.
Not refuting the report, so it must be true.
But yeah, I mean, obviously
you heard on the Sports Blitz, it's true.
Yeah. Not really, but obviously, again, there will be a lot more about the 2022 upcoming Pat season to discuss in the coming
Bill's
weeks.
Already moved on,
and we are going to move on now to the teams that are still playing in the NFL playoffs, and we are going to have a little fun here with some divisional round picks. I know we kind of did this last year, as well as the playoffs sort of progressed each week. We would make some picks for the next round, and so
you're gonna have to tell me who's playing who, because I don't know.
That's okay. But well, considering the fact that Doug and I don't mean to blow up Doug's spot here a little bit here, but we have a group text, me, Kyle, Doug, and our buddy Craig, who you may have heard you referred on this episode on this show before. By the way, trying to get him to be a future guest on this show, so definitely watch out for that. But we had a little divisional round pick'em in our group chat, and Doug proceeded to pick at one point two winners from the same game.
It was going to be a tie,
which was I won't tell you which game. You guys will have to guess. But yeah, he did kind of make a little bit of a pick snafu there. But anyway, let's get right into it with the AFC Divisional Round, and we will start. Doug, I'm going to have you pick first on this particular one, with the top-seeded Tennessee Titans hosting the 4th-seeded Cincinnati Bengals, who, by the way, won their first playoff game last weekend since 1991. So congrats to the Bengals on that. But yeah, Titans Bengals. What are your thoughts? Who do you like?
This one's actually a pretty tough one for me, and I think you kind of it's one of those. This is going to be. I'm going to predict this is going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're talking about two very good teams.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. So I did a little research on some of the teams. So what I have for Cincinnati is they are certainly no slouch. They are not slouch.
No.
They did very well this season. They're a good team. You're talking about, talk about Jamar Chase and I can't remember his first name, but there's another wide receiver named Higgins. These guys.
Yeah, no, I don't know who you're talking about.
I just can't remember his first name.
Too, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, these guys are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Just very, very good offensive team. The Cincinnati defense is fairly good. And then when you have on the flip side, you have Tannehill on the Titans. You have if I can read my notes.
By the way, T. Higgins. T. Higgins is the receiver.
T. Higgins,
for the Bengals.
Yeah, just really, really, really good wide receivers. They have played exceptional this season. And, of course, just like Robbie said, they did win their first playoff game.
And by the way, Joe Burrow ain't no slouch either.
Joe Burrow's playing really well. Really, really well. This game is going to be determined tomorrow. There's a reason for that.
Oh, yep. I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
The decision is going to be made tomorrow whether Mr. Henry is going to play.
Derrick Henry, yep, absolutely.
Yep,
Decision's coming tomorrow. Yep.
Decision's coming tomorrow. He is progressing very well. He is. So that's the decision. If he plays, which I think he's going to, whether he has one leg, two legs, no head, I don't know. Everybody who's hurt plays in a playoff game. Doesn't matter what it is.
Agreed.
And I mean, you get up for it. It doesn't matter.
You suck it up. Is what it comes down to. Yeah.
You get the shot. You suck it up. You get your ass out there.
Yeah.
So the Tennessee Titans are typically a throwing team. They've done really, really well with their offense this season. But what they do is that they've thrown the ball a lot, especially with Derrick Henry out. They've had to throw the ball. But in this particular game, because of the Cincinnati defense being no slouch and really, really good, they may have to run the ball a lot more than they actually pass the ball. Because they're typically a running team anyway, Tennessee. Now, if Derrick Henry's in, and he's the Derrick Henry like of old, and he doesn't seem like he's hurt that much, I'm good. I mean, it's difficult to say. I super want to say I want Cincinnati to beat them.
Well, you did say that in the group text.
I did.
You did pick the Bengals in that one.
Yeah, I know. In the group chat, I picked the Bengals. Again, I think it depends on Derrick Henry, but I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with what I think is the underdog here. I think they're playing way too well. I think the Titans are a really, really good team. You know how you have, your logic thought is that one team's going to win, and then your heart says, I think the other team's going to win. So I think if Derrick Henry doesn't play, Bengals are absolutely going to win the game. If Derrick Henry does win the game, I think the Bengals are going to have a hard time. But I think Derrick Henry's not going to be at 100%. I'm going to go with the Bengals on this.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, like you said, I think this game is going to be one of the tighter games of this entire weekend. I really do think I could see it's one of the games where I look at it and I could see it going either way. Personally, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I just wanted to tell you one last stat. One last stat is that the Tennessee Titans have 10 rushing TDs in the last 4 seasons.
Okay.
Which is huge, and that's why I say if Derrick Henry comes in,
right,
this may be a problem.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I agree with you. And by the way, it's worth noting that Tennessee only 3.5-point favorites in this game. So I mean,
that should tell you something.
The odds are pretty tight there. I mean, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm going with the Titans. I think that they, even without Derrick Henry, it's hard for me to explain, but I think that they just have a little bit more, even without Derrick Henry.
They're a good team
to get over. They're a lot healthier, even without Henry. They're a lot healthier than they were at certain points this season. They, Brown has come back and has come back strong at wide receiver. Tannehill has been playing awfully well at quarterback. The defense has been solid. I think, hey, listen, I think it's going to come right down the wire. And as I said, I can easily see Cincinnati pulling this game out, but I'm going to stick with my gut here and stick with the pick that I made on both our group chat and on a couch talking sports. And as I think Tennessee is going to ultimately pull it out and move on to the AFC Championship game. Who will the winner of that game face? Well, it's going to be probably the battle of the AFC this weekend, maybe actually like the best game of the playoffs so far, and that is the two-time defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs playing host to the good old Buffalo Bills, coming off their ass kicking of the Patriots this past weekend.
Had to say it again, didn't you?
I
had to say it again.
One more time, just to kind of really just finally let it go into outer space there. Again, I think this could be the game of the weekend. Honestly, I think that on paper this has the makings of just a tremendous football game. But at the beginning of the season, I think on one show or another, I picked the Chiefs to be like the favorites in the AFC, the favorites to win a third straight AFC. At the beginning of the playoffs, I know at least on a couch talking sports, I have no problem going on record saying this. I did pick them to make it to a third straight Super Bowl. And so for basically that reason, I'll get to tell you right up top, I'm picking the Chiefs here. I just love the way they've been playing offensively. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL. And as much as I love, Brady, I mean, I think Brady's great too, but I mean, Mahomes is definitely right up there in terms of young quarterbacks in this league today. I just think Kansas City, again, is going to be too much for Buffalo. I think they're going to knock them out of the playoffs for the second straight year. And also, I just don't want the Bills to win. I just can't stand the Buffalo Bills. So there's also kind of there's also that part too, where I just want to see the Bills win. If anybody else is going to win, I don't want it to be the Bills. So I like the Chiefs when it comes to that other AFC Divisional Round game. Doug, want to get your thoughts on it?
Yes. I think what it's going to come down to is the Chiefs' offensive line, and that's what my thoughts are, because the Chiefs offensively, as you know, Patrick Mahomes. First of all, I think the Chiefs are a more potent team. That's the first thing. I think Patrick Mahomes is very hard to contain.
Yeah,
super hard to contain.
Yeah.
He's got Kelsey and he's got Hill. These guys are guys that seem to get open very often and don't seem to have issues. I did notice, and I did notice that Patrick Mahomes was having some trouble this season, kind of getting going. I'm not worried about that now.
Yeah,
but
once he got going, he was.
yeah, once he got going, he was
yeah.
fine. But for some reason, he was, just it's almost like he needed a little push or something, or some energy drink, or I don't know what it was. On the other side of the ball, the Bills' D is immense. They have a great defense. They force turnovers. They're actually +8 in turnovers. That's unheard of. Yeah, Chris Jones, the Patriots killer, so to speak. I mean, they are 29th in sacks, but still, they have a the Bills have a very, very good pass rush. But when it really comes down to it, I really think that the Chiefs are a much more potent team, and I'm also going to go with the Chiefs winning this game.
Yeah. Yep. I think we could. That was one of the picks that I know. Again, looking back on our little chat log from earlier, that we were both very much in agreement on, and that is the Chiefs moving on. So I think, to recap, Doug's got the Chiefs versus the Bengals, the Chiefs and the Bengals moving on.
Oh, are we switching the teams now? No, wait a minute. Do the Bengals? Did the Titans play the Bills?
What?
You just said the Chiefs. The Chiefs
versus.
I
said you have the Chiefs and the Bengals moving on. I said you have the Chiefs versus the Bengals in the next round.
That's not what you said first, though.
No, I said, the Chiefs versus the Bengals, meaning in the next round, Doug. Moving on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, dumb. It's the Chiefs and the Bengals moving on.
That's still not what you said, but that's okay.
I said Chiefs versus the Bengals. You have the Chiefs versus the Bengals in the next round.
Right. Okay.
And I think everybody reasonable person listening to it probably would hopefully.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back and I'll check that, but that's.
I know. I admit that I said Chiefs versus Bengals, but what I meant by that was Chiefs versus Bengals in the next round.
We know what you meant, Robbie, but it's okay to make a mistake. It's all good.
I don't think I made a mistake because I knew what I meant. So anyway,
nobody else did, but that's okay as long as you did.
Whatever. All right. So
how are we supposed to know? We don't know. Move on.
Yes, let's please move on. The Chiefs. So Doug's got the Chiefs and the Bengals moving on, and I have the Chiefs and the Titans moving on. So again, we're kind of like 50-50 there on our pick. So we'll sort of see which one of us is right. I mean, one of us is going to be right on one side of the picks because either the Titans or Bengals have to win, obviously. So one of us is going to be right on that pick. If the Bills win, then both of us will look like fools. But anyway, moving on to the NFC side of things, and obviously us Patriot fans, now that the Pats have been eliminated, are sort of looking ahead to the GOAT himself, number 12, Tom Brady, who again has been mentioned many times so far this week on sports radio around town, so much so you think he was still with the Patriots at times. But his Buccaneers team, who are the defending Super Bowl champions, in case you didn't know. If you didn't know that, you probably shouldn't be listening to this show. They are continuing in their quest to defend their Super Bowl title with a divisional round game against the LA Rams this weekend. The Rams coming off their victory against the Cardinals, while the Bucs coming off a victory against the Eagles in their wild card game. So again, Bucs Rams on one side of the NFC slate. Doug, what are your thoughts and prediction for good old Tom Brady going up against the team that he won his last Super Bowl with the Patriots against?
Well, the Rams have Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford's very efficient. He's a very efficient quarterback. Very good with that. They're not really a good kick return team, the Rams. But that really doesn't make much of a difference. But it's a very efficient team. It's a very good team. Very, very good team. Obviously, I don't have to talk too much about the Bucs. Anybody that I have watched some games that Tom Brady's been in. When it comes to playoff games, I think it's the same thing as when Tom Brady was actually on the Patriots. It's hard to root against somebody who has so many weapons and their defense, the Bucs defense is very good. I'm actually going to go with the Bucs to win the game.
Yeah. As am I. I just think the Bucs have a little bit too much for the Rams. I picked the Bucs at the beginning of the playoffs to repeat as Super Bowl champions. I have no qualm saying that. So I think it's pretty obvious that I'm going to be picking the Bucs this week. How funny would it be? I picked the Bucs for the Super Bowl, that all of a sudden like flip my toad 2 days later or like a week later and say, oh, never mind, I'm picking I'm picking against them. No, so I'm definitely going with the Bucs. I think they get the job done against the Rams and move on to yet another NFC title game. Who they will face, well, that's going to depend on who wins the other NFC divisional game, and that being the top-seeded Green Bay Packers coming off their first-round bye, taking on the surprising San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off a big upset over the Cowboys this past weekend. They went into Dallas and managed to hold on, due in no small part to the Cowboys being the Cowboys when it mattered the most.
Cowboys lost that game.
Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. I mean, when you call a QB run with 14 seconds to go and no timeouts, you're asking for trouble. Let's put it that way. But yeah, Packers, Niners. Listen, I don't think Doug and I are going to agree on this one. I like the Packers. I mean, I think with, the way, I know the Packers also just activated Randall Cobb off the IR today. So he's going to be back for Saturday. I think Rodgers, is been playing very well. I think the Packers defense has been playing very well. I think they were the number one seed for a reason. Listen, all respect in the world to Jimmy G. I mean, I love him as a quarterback. He did great things here. Part of me wishes he was still here. But I just think that, the Packers are going to be too much for him. So I like the Pack to move on and set up a NFC title game rematch with the Bucs next weekend. But Doug, wanted to throw it over to you and get your thoughts on this game, which, I mean, definitely could be an intriguing game. Definitely, an intriguing matchup when you just look at it initially on paper here.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is also going to be a pretty good game. I think all these playoff games are going to be good games to watch. This one especially is kind of interesting. And the reason I say it's kind of interesting is that Green Bay's dealing with some injuries, but again, what you said is that I think one of the factors that kind of makes the Packers a little bit better is that you said Cobb is coming back.
Yeah,
they're dealing with some other injuries.
Oh yeah,
to deal with, but that's just. I mean, everybody is. I mean, I don't know anybody that's not injured by now anyway. But again, with those injured players, they may still play. It's just a matter that they're dealing with a little bit more of injured players than most of the other teams that are playing in the playoffs right now. The other factor I think is, and nobody's really touched upon this except I was listening to, I have Sirius Radio, and was listening to the NFL network, NFL Radio, which is basically the NFL network that's on radio. And one of the guys actually was very interesting, kind of brought up a factor that people aren't really looking at. And one of the factors is that the 49ers are actually going and playing in the cold.
Yeah.
So this could actually be a factor because
Yeah.
we're talking about San Francisco, which
I'm going to
doesn't
do
deal
a
in the
quick
cold too much.
while you're talking. I'm going to do a little quick game day
Weather report?
weather forecast here for
Now the
for
49ers,
Green
the
Bay.
49ers are a very good team. They obviously beat Dallas, I think. I actually think that the Dallas actually lost that game as opposed to Jimmy G winning the game. I love Jimmy G too. I think he's great. I think he has a really good team. But I think I'm going to surprise Robbie by saying I think the Packers are going to win this game. So I agree with Robbie.
So by the way, just so the temperature in Green Bay on Saturday night when the game is supposed to be a low of 0 degrees, and that's just the actual temperature. So it's
welcome to freaking Lambeau Field.
Yeah, welcome to the frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra. I think it's going to be a big factor because the Packers are very used to playing in that weather, and I do not think – and weather shouldn't really be a factor with anything, but if it's 0 degrees, that ball's going to be real hard.
Yeah.
Like real hard, like a rock.
And actually, I will be honest with you. I think I was the reason why I said at the beginning that you and I might disagree here is I think I was misremembering our group chat picks. But yeah, you're right. You did pick the Packers, and that I think I was confusing you with somebody else for some strange reason.
No, and you know what? Initially, I might have picked the 49ers, but since today, and listening to what they had to say and doing a little research, I have. If I did pick the 49ers, I'm changing. I'm moving
but
more toward the Packers anyway.
I did not want to not give you credit for picking the Packers. I did not want to give out misinformation that you had picked the Packers, the 49ers fine. Earlier when you did in fact pick.
That's fine.
The Packers.
It's still before the game, so
it was my mistake.
I could change.
No, it was my mistake. No, it was my mistake in remembering what you had picked. So
no worries.
It's all on me. You did pick the Packers.
Don't expect you to remember
the Packers.
I don't expect you to remember, and it's before the games. And hey, listen, I might come back to you, do a little bit more research, and say, hey, I think the Titans are going to win, and I'll tell you right before the game. So I don't know. Who knows? Right now, it's
who knows what's going to happen.
I don't know, and that's why the picks are the picks.
I mean, you and I both picked the Patriots to win last Saturday, so I mean that just goes to show how much I know about football.
Yeah, we were brutally wrong about that, but
we really were.
But I mean, what it comes down to is that once you do a little research, once and I was able to listen to a lot of not just the commentators, but the commentators are mostly ex-football players. These guys know what it's like to play in playoff games. So, you listen to them and you do a little research and then you look at their seasons. I didn't watch every Titans game. I didn't watch every Bengals game.
No, I would not.
I
did
not
either.
If you do a little research, you can kind of figure out.
Right.
You watch them play a little bit, whatever, and then you make your pick by the information that you have.
That's right.
That's
right. All right. So Doug and I are, at least at this moment, in firm agreement that the NFC Championship game actually would then be a rematch of the 2020 season NFC Championship game with Tampa Bay going into Green Bay. So we will see if that does in fact end up happening, depending on the results of this coming weekend. But like Doug said, it should be 4 great games, both the 2 games on each side. Very much looking forward to watching another exciting weekend of playoff football. After a wild card weekend, it was kind of a dud, if we're going to be honest here. I mean, a lot of lopsided affairs in those wild card games.
Kind of very predictable.
So that was a bit disappointing there. But I think this weekend's games are definitely going to be a lot better than last week's were, and obviously. Next week we will sort of see how our picks did, and obviously we'll have some predictions as well, I think, for next week's episode for the conference championship games, depending on how those all shake out. And It is now time to move on to our favorite part of the episode. Not really our favorite part, but because all of the parts of our episodes are our favorite part, but definitely something that we enjoy doing, and that is our final thoughts for episode number 108 of the Sports Blitz. And Doug, I would love to kick it on over to you to start things off here. What are your final thoughts for tonight's episode?
When I was thinking of final thoughts, I was trying to think of some stuff that I heard during the week. And that's how kind of I get my final thoughts from. And sometimes I have some really good ones, and sometimes they're like, oh, let's see. That just doesn't make any sense. So when in thinking of that, I guess one is a little bit of an advertisement, and so we'll get to that. And the other one is actually basketball related, and it's something I've been hearing about because I've been listening to a lot of sports, but listen to the NBA radio also. Kind of switch back and forth depending on who's on. But there was a game yesterday in which assistant coach, it was the Brooklyn Nets game, in which there was a pass in the corner. There's like, I don't know, 5 minutes left or something like that in the game. And it was a pretty close game. And the ball was going over to the corner for I believe it was Kyle Kuzma, who was going to shoot a three, and he was last like 2 minutes of that particular period. So it was at 7 or 8 minutes. He was just hitting threes like crazy. It was really hot, and they were kind of catching back up to the Nets, and so the play was a pass over to the corner, and one of the assistant coaches from the Nets actually bats the ball, hits the ball on the side when he's on the sideline. He's on the sideline. He's obviously not in the game. He's an assistant coach. He hits the ball, and all the refs drop the ball, literally. They said they didn't see it. Now, it wasn't a reviewable play because the ball didn't really go out of bounds. It wasn't hit hard enough but he did touch it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's not reviewable.
So it stayed as like a live ball, but it
stayed a live ball, but Kuzma never got the ball. But the refs dropped the ball big time, literally.
Yeah.
Because they didn't see it, and now it's not reviewable,
right,
which it should have been, but it's not. It's not in the rule book that you could do that. So it was really whacked out. Everybody's super upset. I seriously think that this assistant coach should be fined. He should be suspended. All this stuff, and you have betting that's out there. You have sports betting that's out there that this could have turned the game around. If Kuzma hit that 3-pointer, they would have been down by 1. So it's very possible that they could have gone ahead and actually won the game. It is possible.
Yeah.
My thought is that they really need to tighten this up. In the time that I have watched professional sports or even college sports or even sports at all, basketball, I have never seen an assistant coach reach out and try to grab a ball. Now, I've seen professional, let's see, who was it? The Bucks coach hit a guy in the top of the head last week.
Oh, Bruce Arians. Bruce
Arians decides he
got fined $50,000.
$50,000 for hitting somebody in the head. His own player wasn't even a player. Yeah. He was his own player. But still, I mean, I've seen that. I've seen Paul Bear Bryant tackle a guy in a college football game, tackle a guy who was running down the sidelines. He actually tackled the guy because his team wouldn't be was not doing the right thing and getting this guy.
How about Mike Tomlin tripping a guy once on the sidelines? I mean, there's a lot.
And I've seen this. Rick Carlisle also tripped somebody.
Yeah.
When he was the assistant coach for Larry Bird for Indiana.
Yeah.
So I've seen some of this stuff, but the fact is that if a player does that, a player does something wrong, he gets teed up.
Yeah.
He gets teed up. He gets a second tee. He's out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. And he gets fined. Why doesn't that happen with coaches? They need to make rules for coaches now. That guy should be suspended. He should be fined. And absolutely, because that he could have determined the game itself.
Yeah.
And if the refs don't see something, why isn't? And I know you can't replay every single thing because you'd have an 8-hour basketball game. So 15 hours later, they finally finished the game. It's 101 double 100. Because every single play there has to be rules about guys on the bench. Why do they? So if a guy goes up to the bench right there, everybody sits down. Because if he was sitting down, he would never have got that ball because it was too high. It was thrown too high. So there's no way. But if he was sitting down, maybe you have one coach at a time standing up. The head coach is standing up. The assistant coach doesn't. Now, the last 2 minutes, all the guys are up because they're all excited. Yeah, he got a 3. And you hear that stuff in the background. You hear guys going, duh, or they're trying to distract the shooters. That's just part of the game. I don't have a problem with that. Even Scal said this morning, because he's on NBA radio, he said, even Scal said, I don't mind that stuff. That stuff's part of the game. But they have to make some rules about bench players and coaches on the bench. That's my first thing. The second thing is that I'm putting a little thing out there for me. I'm going to start doing some blogs about me, about my business, about what's going on with me. I got a story to tell. It's time to tell that story. I believe I can help people out there, and look for me on YouTube. I'm going to have my buddy Kyle, who does Marvel at the Movies with me. He's going to be editing my content. And it's not going to be long content at all, 10, 15 minutes at the most, 8 to 10 minutes, something like that. I'm just getting out there. That's what's going to happen. I wanted to say that.
You go, Doug. We're all rooting for you. The sports Blitz is rooting for you.
That's right. I'm doing it, and I'm very excited about it, and just get it out there. Also, check out Wes Woodson. Wes Woodson on YouTube. He's awesome. He talks about stress. Everybody has stress. He's not supposed to talk about it. He loves to talk about it. Check him out. He's got something new that just came out. I haven't even watched it yet. He's in Hawaii now, so it might be a Hawaii episode. So his is about 8 to 15 minutes or so. So watch him. Wes Woodson. Check him out. Robbie, what is your final thoughts for this evening, for this episode?
So I have 2 final thoughts.
First, he's got 2.
Yeah, the first that I kind of alluded to earlier is I do want to, since it's our first episode back since this game happened, I do want to send a big congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs, the newest college football national champions, as they took down the defending champion Alabama Crimson Tide a little over a week ago. In the national championship game. I'm just so happy to not see Alabama win it. If nothing else, I'm just happy to see Alabama not win. I can't stand Nick Saban. I have no qualms about saying that. And I was just so pleased that Georgia, first of all, I was happy for them. They kind of got over that Alabama hump after losing to them, not only in the 2018 national championship game, but also in the SEC title game just back a month ago. So I was just very happy for the Bulldogs and their fan base to be able to get the job done. And yeah, like I said, big congratulations to them. And are you playing the Georgia Fight song? Oh God, folks, I believe me, as uncomfortable as this dancing may be making you can only imagine it's like 10 times worse for me right now. Go Dogs. The second part of my final thought is actually, this is going to be a little bit interesting here, because actually for the second part of my final thought, I am actually going to get thoughts from our basketball guru here on the Sports Blitz, that being my pal Doug over here, because a certain team whose towel is proudly draped behind him made a little trade within the last couple of days. The Celtics made a 3-team deal. Let me just go over the trade before I started.
I didn't even understand the trade until I actually looked at it, so it was a little complicated. But
they made a 3-team trade with the San Antonio Spurs and the Denver Nuggets. And in the trade, I'm trying to sort of go through here quickly. So the Nuggets get Bryn Forbes from San Antonio.
Great shooter.
They sent Bol and PJ Dozier to the Celtics. And then the Spurs acquired Juancho Hernan-Gomez from the Celtics and Denver's 2028 second-round pick. So, again, that is Bryn Forbes of San Antonio going to Denver. You've got Bol and PJ Dozier, the Nuggets, coming here to Boston. And then Juancho Hernan-Gomez leaves here and goes to San Antonio. So, Doug, I actually wanted to give the second half of my final thought to you to give your take on. I know it's kind of a small trade, a small potatoes trade. I get that, but I wanted to get your take on this deal that just broke, like I said, just yesterday. I mean, literally, this trade just went down either yesterday or the day before. I forget exactly, but I wanted to get your take on it.
That is your $7-8 million salary dump. That's my take. That's exactly what it was. It was to get. Brad Stevens also has a
Trader Brad.
Trader Brad has a obligation as a general manager to make sure that he is under the luxury tax, and they have been for the last several years, and it hasn't been an issue. There's a couple things. Juancho hasn't really played. He really hasn't played. It's one of those things where he's played a little. His minutes have been varied. Not a bad player, but one of those things where he's got a $7 million contract.
Right.
And if you can get rid of that $7 million and get a couple of players back that may or may not help out, the interesting part about what we got back is, PJ Dozier. We used to actually have PJ Dozier on the Celtics. Several years ago, we had PJ Dozier.
Yeah.
He's actually, because he ended up on the Nuggets, he's actually a great bench player. And if you look him up, he has off the bench, he gets like 14 to 20 points off the bench. Not all the time, but he's capable of doing that. So he's not a bad bench player. He's turned himself into a really, really good player, but off the bench. And we kind of need that a little bit. We need some shooting off the bench. That's not a bad thing. Bol is hurt. And
isn't Dozier hurt too?
I don't think Dozier's hurt. I think I don't know. I didn't see Dozier being hurt, but I know Bol is hurt. Bol is Manute Bol, who used to play for the Washington Wizards, which was Washington Bullets back then, way back when. So Manute Bol from Africa, very tall, about 7'6". Bol, unfortunately, is only 7'2". But not a bad player, kind of an intriguing player. The problem is that I think he's
PJ
coming back
Dozier.
from.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but PJ Dozier tore his ACL 2 months ago.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if either one of them are going to play this year at all. If they're still on the team by the trade deadline, anyway. Just because Bol's got like 8 to 12 weeks, so I just don't think that's gonna. So don't really know, but my personal opinion,
yeah,
absolutely salary dump. But what we got from it, another trade exception. We got an over $6 million trade exception from that trade. So we should be able to use it either till the end of this year or first of next year.
Yeah.
So the possibility. Now, I will predict right now, right in the show, right in the Sports Blitz, Raider Brad is not done yet.
I agree. And that's what I've been hearing a lot of.
There are some intriguing pieces out there
to come.
And I will tell you that the two people, as far as I'm concerned, and we'll talk about Celtics down the road a little bit in other episodes.
Yeah.
I will tell you the two people that are not at all in the trade block are the Jays.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Portland has said there's been rumors about Portland being interested in Jaylen Brown. Of course, who isn't interested in Jaylen Brown? I'd be interested in Jaylen Brown. I am interested in Jaylen Brown. No. Jaylen Brown's a great player. I mean, who wouldn't be interested? They're not going to break up the Jays right now. They're not going to do it. If anything, they're going to build around them. So as far as I'm concerned, you keep the two Jays, you sell off the whole team, including the basketballs.
Agreed.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because everybody else. Oh, wait a minute, Robert. I wouldn't give up Robert Williams so quickly.
Unless you were getting back
Robert Williams,
proven big man in return.
Robert Williams III, I think, is a great big man. I think Al Horford, I hear, is on the block too.
Not surprised.
That's what I'm hearing. And I'm not surprised either. He's got a huge freaking contract. So I'm not surprised that he's on. But, it's just, it is what it is. What it was is a salary dump.
Yeah.
And getting back players, being able to throw Juancho to another team. Maybe he can help that team. And also being able to get rid of some salary, kind of get yourself under the luxury tax. That's what I think it is.
I agree. Definitely going to be worth watching what Trader Brad elects to do here as we over the coming. Definitely not done yet. One last quick note that I wanted to throw in before we end tonight's show, given that this kind of just broke as we were recording here tonight. It's
I didn't get the breaking news?
Something that's something a little worth watching. Tonight, the Bruins obviously are in action playing the Washington Capitals. And
you're going to talk about BM?
Yeah, Brad Marchand left tonight's game with an upper body injury and did not return. So, I mean, again, don't know much.
Thank God it's not a lower body injury.
Yeah.
Lower body injury, you never know what that is.
Yeah. But again, just something to sort of to keep an eye out for. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but just sort of something to keep an eye out.
You see, this guy broke his nose and he went out there. He was still out there.
I know.
He was like, I don't care. He doesn't wear a mask or anything.
He's a tough guy. He's a hockey player. But anyway, that is going to wrap up episode number 108 of the Sports Blitz. Hey, listen.
Wrap it up.
I want to thank, as always, our sponsor, Zyman Organizing, obviously, for their continued support of us here at the Sports Blitz. Listen, you can find us on the Sports Blitz here on YouTube, obviously, and please like and subscribe. Drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you
on Robbie's rants and stuff.
Yes,
really like to see
or Doug's inability to speak words.
What?
What did you say? But anyway, yeah, we're here on YouTube. We are on Facebook and we are on Twitter. I mean, just please, we always appreciate the support and would love.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, would love you to get the word out there that we are here and we're not going anywhere. Just like Tom Brady, apparently, who never shows any signs of slowing down.
And just remember, you heard it here first. Jerod
Mayo is Bill Belichick's
Belichick's
son. Yes. Jerod, you've heard it here first on the Sports Blitz, and probably for the last time here on the Sports Blitz. But anyway,
breaking news that Brad Marchand having a low upper body injury.
Yeah, seriously, just dropping notes all over the place tonight. But anyway, please give a watch also to the other two shows in our podcast trilogy. Marvel at the Movies, as we said, new episode coming out very, very soon. New episode of On a Couch Talking Sports just released last night. It was a good one, so definitely check those out as well. So that is going to do it for us here at the Sports Blitz, again, for episode number 108. As always, that's Doug. He's kind of above me on my screen, so that's why I'm kind of pointing upwards here. I'm Robbie, and we will see you next time here on the Sports Blitz. See you, everybody.